you get stuck with, do you go on a mission?
Yeah.
And, here I am, 18 years old. I don't
Yeah.
recommend you do this, but I'm just hitting up all these Division I programs, sending them a link of like my highlights, but obviously, you're on the Lord's time. And
Yeah.
so you are on the Lord's time. So I wouldn't recommend any of you doing that. Just focus on the Lord, because, He will put you in the place that you need to be.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back again to the Shoutout podcast. Really exciting episode today. I was able to meet with Ace Flores, who I've known for just over a year now from mutual connection at SVU. He was on the SVU men's soccer team, and we met last spring, and he reached out and wanted to be on the podcast, and was happy to accommodate that. Had a really, really good conversation with Ace, and really looking forward to hearing your thoughts and seeing how the things we talked about can help somebody. So, of course, also, as always, want to give a shout out to Steadfast. Hooked me up with this fantastic hat this week. So very, very happy to be working with them again. And I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Ace, how you doing today?
Good, man. Good. Excited to be here.
Yeah.
Life's good. Yeah.
Good. Thank you for reaching out and wanting to be on the podcast. And I'm excited, really, honestly, to get to know you a little bit better.
For sure.
We met briefly when I was out at SVU. Gosh, that would have been last spring of 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we met briefly when I was out there, just for a little introduction for everybody, right?
Yeah.
I was out there visiting SVU, and I had connected with Peyton, and I was going to be coaching, so I just wanted to see kind of how Peyton was running things. And you were. I think there were like 12 guys there that practice. It was meager numbers, but I mean that's spring ball though. So talk to me a little bit. Again, we met briefly last spring, but I don't know a lot about your story. And so with the podcast, what I like to do is really get more information from guys, and what we're doing is trying to find ways to help youth understand how to balance faith and athletics.
Yeah.
And really kind of dive into that. And there's just so much pressure now these days to like pick one, right? You have to be all in sports, or you have to be all in your faith, and balance is something it feels like it's something that's achievable, but people are saying it's not. And so it becomes really stressful. So tell me a little bit about your background, growing up as an athlete and being LDS and all that. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. So as I said, a little bit about me. So I'm from Rhode Island.
Okay.
As we know, it's a really small state.
Yeah.
Really, it's a bit different. Probably the first person you ever met from here.
Second,
Really,
second one.
really,
Yeah.
really. Well, I'll have to know who. Maybe I know him because we all know each other, especially.
Yeah, we'll chat about it.
Yeah. So I play center back. I spent my freshman and sophomore year at Southern Virginia University down there in beautiful Buena Vista. Loved it there. Loved the team, the coaches, everything was I love the school there.
Shout out BV.
Yeah, BV,
Shout out BV.
baby. So I just transferred to Rhode Island College, obviously. So my entire family, we all live here in Rhode Island, and I kind of wanted them to have the opportunity to see me play and stuff. Because traveling down to Virginia kind of was a bit out of the way. It's a 9-hour drive from here to Rhode Island. So yeah, obviously, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I was born and raised in the church, and I am who I am today because of the church. Honestly, I did end up serving a mission. I served in the Uganda Kampala Mission, so that was a heck of an experience, man. Like
I can't even imagine.
wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. Um, so yeah, that's just a little bit about me, a little bit of my
Love it.
introduction.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So if you could you dive into a little bit more about, because like you had said, like Rhode Island's so small, right? Rhode Island's so small. So growing it and like born and raised Rhode Island as well. Like have you
So,
lived there your whole
I
life
kind of
or
moved around. So
okay.
we moved when I was 2, we moved to Houston, Texas
Okay.
with my family, but, like, every summer, we would come up every, like, Christmas break because my both my parents grew up here, so both my grandparents, they resided here in Rhode Island. Um, so we'd come up growing up here, but I grew up in, a place in called Sealy, Texas. It's
Okay.
a bit, an hour west of, like, the city of
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, grew up there until I was 16, um, went went to free a place called Freeport, Florida.
Okay.
It's in the Destin area in the
Yep.
Panhandle.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah, those are 2 different all 3 of these places are they're
Yeah.
very different from one another. But, I really loved, just being able to grow up in all those places. I come from a bit of like a more humble background, um, you know, especially soccer wise. You know, growing up, I was never able to. My parents really couldn't afford to like have me play club soccer. I kind of
Yep.
grew up just playing in my backyard, just with the
Yep.
ball, kicking against tearing up my dad's shed. So that's kind of the way I grew up, but, you know, I loved it. Eventually, you know, you get to middle school, you start playing on the teams and stuff like that. You get to high school, um, start playing on those teams. So then fell in love with it. I was able my senior year of high school, that's probably when I did start playing club. That's my first time I've played club soccer. I did try out and I made the Houston Dynamo Academy team. So
Wow.
yeah, that was really cool. That was really fortunate. So, yeah, but, you you know, it came to a point and, you know, the cliche story is, like, comes to a point where you have to pick, you know, playing at a school you wanna play at. Um, so I was, you know, offered to play at, you know, a really good school, Division One, at the College of Charleston University
Cool.
in South Carolina,
Great program.
but obviously, you know, you get stuck with, do you go on a mission? And, you know, here I am, 18 years old. 18-year-old me decides to go on a mission. And when I was there, I on my mission, I just remember trying to hit up. I remember using my missionary email, just trying to. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to do this. I don't
Yeah.
recommend you do this, but I'm just hitting up all these Division 1 programs,
Yep.
sending them a link of like my highlights, you know. But obviously, you know, you're on the Lord's time, and so you are on the Lord's time. So I wouldn't recommend any youth doing that. Just focus on the Lord, because you know he will put you in the place that you need to be. I promise you that if you know you serve with your heart, even if you just go out, you know the Lord is going to bless you. He's going to bless your family, and you know I was able to see some of that. Like when I was on the mission, my family received so many blessings. I was
Yeah. Yeah.
genuinely worried about like, oh my goodness, like is my family going to be okay? You know, I remember my mother, my grandma, my dad, they were they were really, really nervous about me going halfway across the world to Uganda. But the Lord, He did take care of them. And I just saw the hand of God in their life. They saw the hand of God in their life so many times. But eventually, back on the college soccer thing,
Yeah.
I did end up hitting up Peyton Pemberton, the head
Yeah.
coach of Southern Virginia men's
Yep.
soccer, and
Yep.
he did respond to me, and you know, we kind of not really stayed in contact, but I remember finishing up. He was able to email me back, "Hey, I'd love to have you play out at Southern Virginia University," and came back home October of 2023, started that fall semester of 2024, and yeah, kind of just it had to get into a little bit of shape.
Sure,
Obviously,
sure,
you're
sure.
trying to wear off the missionary things, but
Yep.
just my teammates were able to help me do that. Especially Peyton, he was able to help me do that,
Yeah.
get in shape, and tell me everything I need to do. And then eventually, 2024 fall season came, and we had, that was probably like the best
That was the
semester ever. I mean,
yeah.
I was the center back. I started for like 15 out of 17 games, and we made history. We won our first playoff game or conference tournament game, and then we lost in pens against Brevard, and it was such a great experience. That was honestly like that was so fun, and then I just loved SVU after that, and just grew with the boys, and now I'm here and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah. I love that. I love all that. Yeah, that was for me, I grew up in BV, right? And everyone on the podcast has heard my story 100 times now, but that was that was my story, man. We didn't have a club. The closest club was at the time was in Roanoke, which is like an hour. And SVU back then, and I don't know if it's changed um, much to this point, but like my dad didn't make enough for me to go play club, especially an hour away. So it was the same. I grew up playing in the street, playing in my yard, playing with a wall, right? So yeah, I love that. And yeah, similar for me. I had to choose, do I go somewhere and play or do I go on a mission? And wouldn't change that decision for the world. I wouldn't have my family, wouldn't have had the experiences. Nothing would be the same if I had chosen to go play instead of going to serve. So I love that. Um, and yeah, I've watched you guys and the program grow, and it's been really cool for me because I've been there since the program started. My dad actually started the program.
really,
Yeah, so way back when my dad started the soccer programs at SVU, he won a national title with the women's program, coached the men for a few years. So I've been around it since day one. So
that's crazy.
it's been really cool to see like kind of the roller coaster effect. And like when they first started, obviously brand new program, struggled, right? But then the men's program got really good really fast, then it dropped off again. Then they got really good again, then dropped off again. And so when I got home from my mission, we were in a drop off, like bad. It was rough. And then just seeing how Peyton has been able to find recruits like someone who was on the Houston Dynamo Academy, right? Like, and get those kind of guys to SVU has been awesome. Has been awesome. So I love that. If you could you kind of go back a little bit and dive into more about like your experience as a youth and playing soccer and um, kind of like that balancing of faith and maybe even some of the struggles that you might have gone through, or just anything you'd be willing to share that
Yeah,
could help
absolutely.
out some kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, growing up, I was the only member in my school. I know not everybody
Wow.
has that story,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's story for sure is, different than others, but a little bit about like my story was, I remember they would I remember it was like in 8th grade, and like I just remember like in history class, it was like 8th grade history class, and eventually we get to a point and we learned about like Utah, and like
Okay.
how Utah became a state, and like eventually, it's obviously nobody there is really a member of the
Yeah.
church, and they
Yeah.
don't really know that I'm a member. So
Sure.
here they are just kind of like, oh, Joseph Smith, he started this religion, and they went to Utah, and he had this many wives,
Yeah.
and yeah, so like and here I am just an 8th grader, I'm outnumbered, but I remember just staying there, like, just timid and quiet, and, I kinda didn't wanna stand up. I really felt alone, but I
Yeah.
remember, just, like, going to I was super, super fortunate to, like I had the greatest young men leaders,
Mm.
honestly, like, that honestly, I can say, like, they seriously built my testimony of the gospel, and they just the way they involved all of us, like, as kids was, like, seriously, seriously a blessing. That's kind of like the fortune that I had. Like, I just remember, even when I was in Florida, like, there was only, like, 3 young men in that entire branch, like, it
Wow.
was a tiny, tiny branch. I was the only kid, like, I was the only ironic priesthood holder, like, and at the time, like, there was a time when that happened, so I was literally passing the bread and the water, like, I remember the missionaries would bless the sacrament, and here I am, just, like, 16, just
Jeez.
passing it to, like, 14 people,
Yep.
right, the bread and the water, so, but back on that, I just remember going to my youth leaders to about anything I'm struggling with at school, and they were just able to, give me comfort. They were able to share scriptures with me, and eventually, like, I came to understand that even Jesus himself was like, he was persecuted, he was rejected himself, he was like spit on, and I was kind of able to relate to the Savior and kind of feel a little bit of like or I was able to understand that the Savior knew what I was going through at school, but just because of the youth leaders that I had, and especially like I was super blessed to have my parents. They obviously played a big big influence on me. They taught me just how to serve other people. Especially my dad. My dad was very much someone about like service. I remember like I used to hate it because we'd show up, we were always the first like, every time there was a project, I just remember we were always the first ones there, we were always the last ones to
Yep.
leave,
Yeah.
and I couldn't stand it, but now, obviously, I'm super grateful for those experiences because,
Yeah.
that's exactly, what Jesus would do, just serve him till the job is done.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
um
yeah.
it was crazy, man, growing up, but just I learned, as a youth, just especially now, like, I guess what I would tell someone as a youth, like, don't be afraid to stand for what you believe in.
Mm. Yeah.
Like, it's okay to be outnumbered, or it's okay, people are always gonna disagree with you.
Mm.
But just
Yep.
never deny your testimony no matter what, because that is who you are. So,
Yeah. I
yeah,
love that. I love
yeah,
that. Yeah, my dad was the exact same, man.
yeah,
First
yeah,
to get there, last to leave.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I love that though. And I like that you said like that's how Christ would serve. Right?
mhm,
Christ would serve until the job was done. And as you were saying that, I was thinking like, and I don't want to like rag on anybody, but like if you go to a service project, why would you leave before it was done? Right? Like if the whole
exactly.
point is to go and to serve, why would you leave before it's done? I love that. I love that. Um, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. We actually lived in a branch just a couple of years ago, and where my wife is from in Illinois, and it was similar. Not quite that small, but I think we averaged like 25 to 30 on Sunday. So
Mhm.
I was always either blessing or passing the sacrament. And I've got, at the time, I think we had 4 kids. So I got 4 kids sitting in a row with my wife, and I'm trying to do the sacrament, and I'm trying to, tell kids to run back to their seats. And like, but like,
Oh boy,
there's something about branches, man. They're so
I
fun. They're
know.
so fun.
Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah. The kids got so used to it
Mhm.
that like, so we're in Utah now. So every ward is massive.
Yeah.
So Sunday, I actually spoke in church already. Um, the bishopric member texted me on like Tuesday, like super late, and he was like, "Hey, can you speak Sunday?" And so I was like, "Yeah, sure, like I'll speak whatever." And then Sunday morning, he texts me and he says, "By the way, it's also a farewell, so you have like 10 minutes." So I was like, "Oh, oh my gosh!" So then I get there and I'm like, "Okay, our ward's always super full." I go sit up front, and there were like, no joke, like 400 people there, and
Oh my.
probably a fourth of those, at least 100, were visitors for this kid.
Mhm.
Who an awesome kid, but, like, I stand up and I'm like, "There's 400 people here," but, like, before the meeting, my 2-year-old and my 3-year-old both just, like, ran up onto the podium because they were so used to it, but they're just, like, running up onto the podium during the opening hymn. I'm like, "Go sit back
Oh,
down." Like, but,
yeah,
oh, man, no, branches are fantastic. That's awesome. That's
absolutely.
awesome.
I think it's so different. I mean, I think in my opinion, it's like whenever you're in a branch like that, because obviously I've been in a ward and stuff, especially going to
Sure.
SVU, it's just
Oh, yeah.
different. Like branches, you just feel so humbling. And I just remember feeling like I stand for something rather than like I'm just another number, like being at
Ooh.
SVU, because like,
Yeah.
whenever you're there at SVU, everybody's a member and it's like everybody's righteous, but it's like I just remember like having I thought it was so cool, especially like now being here at Rhode Island, I'm gonna get those experiences again. I just feel you have more missionary opportunities.
Ooh, yeah.
Just to
Yeah.
it means like you gotta set the example like more and more. Like there's a bit more pressure, but I kind of like that
Yeah.
feeling that pressure, just being able to stand for something, stand more for what I believe.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. So you moved around a lot, right? Didn't get to play club a lot.
Mhm.
And then went on your mission. So SVU was all post mission, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me. Let's do mission first then. Let's talk about your mission for a little bit. And then
Yeah.
we'll talk about SVU. Uganda. I don't meet a lot of people who have served in Uganda.
Yeah.
I meet someone every now and then who went and served in an African country, but talk to me about that. Well, actually, before I get there, talk to me about like before, like once you open your call and that's where you're going. You said like your family, they were nervous. Talk to me kind of about that and then jump into the mission.
Well, okay. So before I remember preparing for a mission, um, I just remember like I just saw the testimony like a bunch. So the leaders of my branch in Florida, they were all RMs. And
Mm,
I just remember they just testified of their missions so much. So, if you're a leader in and you serve a mission, I really recommend you testify
yep,
of your mission
yep.
just whenever you can to your youth because that obviously that had an impact on me. And I just remember feeling like I didn't know I had never read the Book of Mormon. I've read verses obviously, but
Yeah.
every time someone would "How many times have you read the Book of Mormon?" I would lie and say 1 time, but, like, no, because I didn't feel like getting chastised, "You need to
Yeah.
start now," you know what I mean?
Right,
But
right, right.
I just, um I just remember, like, just, reading it as I was official for the first time as I, like, was officially preparing to
Yeah.
go. So, I was so blessed to be in that small branch because not only was I like the only like youth in that one of the only youths, but I was their first missionary.
Wow.
There had never been a missionary who had left from it's called the free at the time it was called the Freeport branch.
Okay.
Uh there had never been a missionary who had left from there. So they really, really were kind of like not forcing me, but I could tell, like, they were excited that I was preparing, so
Yeah.
they were doing
Yeah.
everything that
That's
they
that
could.
pressure you were talking about.
Yeah, they were doing
Yeah.
everything that they could to help support me, and, they were helping, like, kind of comfort my mom. I remember they were
Mm,
trying to, like, help her walk through, like, what a mother should do and just I remember, like, they were helping me, like, "Okay, you gotta get this amount, many shirts. Don't forget to take a hamper." That's something that, like, you know, that's something that a lot of missionaries honestly forget to do.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
remember, this is the day I was opening, like, the mission call, and, I just remember so there was, like I was with my dad, and with his side of the family, and I remember I was sitting in between my dad and my aunt, and, like, I remember I had the mission call on my phone, right? But I was reading it word for word because I didn't wanna skip down to
Yep,
obviously,
yep,
you
yep,
gotta
yep.
read a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you read where you're going, right? My dad was sitting next to me, he was just trying to see where I was going, and so I was reading it, and then my dad he obviously sees where I'm going, and he just starts crying, like,
Oh,
like, he's like, "Oh my goodness." Like, and he's like, "Who's gonna take care of my son?" So then I read just Uganda Kampala Mission on my phone, and, like, I was just like, "Holy moly." Like, it was crazy because, like, before that, I was watching, like, Planet of the Apes or something like that, and out of curiosity, I looked up, like, where's the most, like, gorillas in the world, and it was, like, Rwanda and
yeah,
Uganda, and I
yeah.
was like and then 2 days later, I read that mission call to, like, Uganda. So
That's
it was,
awesome.
like yeah, it was crazy. So I just remember feeling, like, peace and
Mm,
happiness, like, I really felt like this is, like, where the Lord wants me to go.
yeah.
So, obviously, you're excited you have, like, 90 or so days to prepare for your mission.
Okay, sure.
Um, and obviously, you're preparing like I said, I had my branches behind me, they were helping me, get what I need and stuff. But I remember, like, 10 days left, it just starts to hit you, man, like,
Yeah.
especially that last week, like, you're leaving everything. I remember, like, "Dang, I'm gonna miss this Xbox," right? Like like, but it starts hitting you, like,
Yeah,
this is it, like, it's about to be, like, goodbye and everything, and then, I remember getting set apart and just feeling, like, the weight of, like,
mm,
obviously you get set apart by the laying on of hands by your stake president and a few of your church leaders. And I just remember, like, the weight, like, of the hand, like, you could feel, like, the kind of weight of their hands on my head. And I just
yeah,
remember, like, kind of like feeling it, like, oh boy, this is like the pressure I was talking about. Like, it's coming down on me. So I just remember being set apart. Gave my mother was there when I was set apart, gave her a big hug, and, obviously, I was still with her because I was doing online MTC at the
sure,
time.
sure.
So because it was kind of like during COVID. So
Oh, okay, yeah,
this
yeah.
is October of 2021.
Okay.
So I did online MTC for a week, and then, we I got to go to Provo for for the rest of it, and,
Nice.
I got shipped out to Uganda,
Yeah,
and it was crazy, man. It was just like it was quite an experience. I got there, we talk it's like November in Utah. It's a bit chilly. You get there
yeah.
to Uganda, it's humid, man, and
Oh,
it's hot
really?
and humid at night. Yep. And so you're just like, "Oh boy, this is something else."
Yeah,
So, yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, just I guess, just it was awesome, but really for the youth, you gotta read the Book of Mormon when you can.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
like but even if you haven't yet and you're still thinking about going on a mission, just go. Honestly, just submit your papers because that
mhm,
that will help you, like, realize, "Oh, shoot, you gotta read the Book of Mormon," and obviously, your testimony is gonna gain stronger, and
yeah,
you're gonna be able to, kind of relate to the warriors and the prophets who are in that, just the righteous, and you're gonna learn of how the righteous are rewarded.
yeah,
Just just by reading that book, and even if you read it again, you're still gonna learn so much. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Well, I'm
you can't
still learning.
on it. It is one great book, honestly. It is a powerful book. I mean, not only that, you'll just see a change in yourself as you read that book. So, and as the prophet said, most correct book on this earth, and makes doctrine so clear, and
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
it just gives a clear, direct path to righteousness.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got mine. Sits right here on my desk.
Hmm.
Just got a brand new copy. This year I did something I've never done before. And I don't know why, but I decided I wanted to read the Book of Mormon backwards. So like I started with the last chapter in Moroni, and I'll read a chapter, and then I'll go back a chapter, and then go back a chapter, and then go back. It's been
Really?
really cool to, and while I've been doing that, because Sunday school this year is the Old Testament, so I've been reading that properly, like in order, and then reading a chapter of that of the Bible and reading a chapter of the Book of Mormon. It was really cool to see. Um, there were things that lined up when I read them that way. So when I was reading in, it was either third or fourth Nephi, and then I would read the chapter in the Bible, and it was like talking about those events in the Book of Mormon that I had just read. And like I've never had that experience where like reading the scriptures, not just the Book of Mormon, but Book of Mormon and the Bible, and they're talking about each other at the same time was so cool. Was
Yeah.
so cool. But I love that. That's huge. We had, when I was growing up, my stake president, bless him, he made it a requirement when he got called that every young man had to read all the standard works. So Book of Mormon, Old and New Testament, Doctrine and Covenants before they could go, yeah, before they
That's
could go on a
oh,
mission.
that's a big
It was
ask.
it was a huge ask. But at the same time, like not that we were better prepared, because I think I don't think anyone's ever like truly prepared for a mission, because it's
Yeah,
just like you were
absolutely
saying,
not.
it's totally like culture shock and all of that. But it did help us at least, like, we knew the scriptures a little bit, and so when situations would come up or anything like that, we could kind of rely, like you were saying, rely on that testimony that we had, because that's really at the root of it all. That's what you have, is that testimony.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's dive into Uganda, man. Talk to
All
me about
right.
Uganda.
All right. Yeah. So obviously, I get there. The first area. I'm not gonna go over all the areas, but I just
Sure.
remember we took a taxi, right? So we get there obviously to the mission home. It's like it is. It's like 4 a.m. 4 a.m. And
Wow.
I remember our mission president, Walter Chatora was his name. He was like, "All right, elders. So it's 4 a.m. How do you guys willing to be up by 6 a.m. and learn where you're going and
Oh,
whatnot, who your trainer's gonna be?" And I was like, obviously we are new, so greeny fire hits you.
yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
absolutely, let's do this,
Yeah.
right?
2 hours of sleep. Who cares? Let's go.
Yes, like, let's go. Absolutely. We were all smelling so bad from that flight. It was like a 30-hour flight, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
all took off our shoes. Oh boy, the stench was in the house. The stench was in the house. So I remember we got fed, right? We got fed like
Sure.
nice food. And I was
Okay.
like, man, this is Uganda has nice food.
Eh,
Obviously. So the first area I served in it was called Wanyange. It's like a little village, not village, but it's a little area outside of Jinja, Uganda, which is like the
Okay.
second biggest city, like
Okay.
2 hours away from the capital, the mission home, which is where the mission home was of Kampala. And we get there, and I'm like, this doesn't look that nice. And the
Ah.
food it wasn't as good as the food that I had at first, but um, it was. I just remember getting sick at first from eating the food.
No.
Yeah, just it was bad. I thought like literally, I felt like, dang, this is the end. This is it. Like, I'm done. But,
Man.
I was super fortunate to have the trainer that I did. His name Elder Shanana. He was from Zimbabwe, and,
Wow.
I'm so grateful that I had him as a trainer. He's a little guy. He's like, I kid you
Yeah.
not, like 4'11", little guy,
Whoa.
but he was so cool, so cool. Whenever felt like I would teach a lesson wrong, like, he was just like, "Elder, you did so good. I don't know why you're getting so down on yourself," and just this guy, he taught with the spirit, like,
Oh, that's
honestly,
awesome.
like, he taught with the spirit. He had so much knowledge and stuff, but it wasn't really, like, his knowledge that was, like, that helped him teach. Like I said, it was the testimony, because you're teaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you'll have to teach, like, okay, like, outside of, like, the preach my gospel,
Yeah.
but obviously you're just teaching, the lessons, like the restoration, plan of salvation, gospel of Jesus Christ. Then you go over the commandments, law of chastity, word of wisdom, tithing, um, and etc. But so eventually you'll get those down. You'll know what scriptures to
Oh yeah.
share. But
Oh yeah.
I just remember he always just had a strong testimony, and he always knew what, like, to say, and I was like, "Elder, like, how do you know this?" But he told me, like, his secret was, which, for the youth out there, this is,
Yeah.
a recommendation, just
There we go.
we would always, as a missionary, I'm honestly lacking that. I probably should do this, just because I'm not a missionary anymore, but I still need to do it. You always wake up in the morning, you always get on your knees and you pray, obviously. And something that he told me in his personal prayer every morning was just, he would pray for the gift of discernment. If you don't know what the gift
Oh.
of discernment is, it's just of being able to know how to help someone without
Yeah.
actually knowing how to help someone, like
Yeah.
asking for the spirit to help you. So I literally every morning I'd wake up and pray, but I'd always make sure that, I'd pray to God and ask him, for the gift of discernment,
Hmm.
because you're not there for yourself, obviously. You're there to serve other people. And how are
Yeah.
you going to serve other people if you don't know how to serve them? So I
Oh.
honestly, like, praying for that gift of discernment. It just made, for me, obviously, like everyone, it's
Sure.
personal
Sure.
prayer, but that real when I started doing that, I just started seeing, like, miracles happen. Just
Yeah.
me being able to teach people what they need to hear, or help people in the way they needed to be helped. And just, over time you just grow as a missionary. Man, especially a really, really special experience was, I had a companion, you know, shout out Congo. They did pretty good in this World Cup, for the first time being
Yeah.
there in a while,
Yeah. Holy cow, they
but
did.
we'll get into that in a little bit,
Okay.
obviously.
Okay.
But
Okay.
his name was Elder Malu, and he honestly just, it was such a lot. I really hope to meet, if there is a companion that I would want to meet
Mhm.
someday, like, it's this guy, because
Yeah.
he's a bit older of a guy, and I'm
Okay.
19 at the point. And he could have easily just, like, been, oh, you're 19, you don't he could have, like, treated
Mhm.
me like a 19-year-old,
Yep.
but he
Yep.
treated me like, the way he served me, man. And it was just, I just remember waking up. He would have his little music, his Congolese music, right? He'd do his little dancing, but when he was dancing, he would make breakfast for both of us, and he literally would polish my shoes, like.
Wow.
And keep in mind, he's from Congo. In Congo, they don't speak English, they speak French.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was his first companion from, like, this is his first transfer in Uganda. He's having to learn, the language with Luganda, and also learn English, okay,
Right.
to try and communicate with me. So he just, his determination to help, the way he learned, the language is, I think, how any missionary should try and learn the language. Just try. Honestly,
Yeah. Yep.
the first few lessons, he's butchering words, but who cares? Like, who cares? Like, absolute, like, eventually, like, by the end, I was able to call. I left obviously earlier than him. I'd call him on P days and stuff, but he was able. He speaks perfect English now. He has a
That's
little
awesome.
accent,
Sure.
but
Sure.
just he was such a good missionary. He just wanted to serve everybody. He wanted to serve me, especially. Like, he was, is there anything I can do for you? Like,
Yeah.
it was such a great, like, just serve your companions. Like, I feel like people say this, like, the hardest part of a mission is getting along with your companion, which it could be. Like I said,
Can be.
everybody's
Yeah.
mission is different.
Yep.
People serve in different places, but I think just as you learn to serve your companion, like, not to whenever you serve them, whenever I say serve them, actually serve them. Don't try to
Mm.
serve them because don't do petty service.
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna serve you so you can act better. Don't
Yep.
do that. You serve them, get to love, not don't just get to know your companion, but get to love them. Because,
Oh.
I still have so many I still talk to, like, a lot of my missionary companions. Like, don't get me wrong, you're gonna have disagreements, but never was I ever, like, in a serious, like, argument. But, like, after those little disagreements, you'd talk about it, you'd sit down and talk about it, and just, "Elder, I love you so much, I hate that, we disagreed on this," and then he eventually would apologize. And I feel like
Yeah.
whenever you do that, whenever you set the tone of love, then you're gonna have so much more success in your area wherever you are, and you're really gonna enjoy it more because, I've known a few people who, their companions, they can seriously hold them down mentally, and it can take a mental toll on them on the mission. But if you just seriously love your companion and, like, get to know him a bit better, like, what are his interests, what he did at home and stuff, you'll find so much more success in the area. And then, eventually towards the end of my mission, you just start to reflect back. I mean, I
Mm.
just
Yeah.
remember, like, in Uganda, for the most part, we bucket showered, with cold
Okay.
water, like,
Yep.
literally, like, we had a big old tin can of, like, water. You pour it in the bucket, right? You pour it in a smaller bucket because the tin can's a bit heavier.
Sure.
So you just dump it over, you rinse, obviously you're rinsing yourself, then you put soap, and then you rinse yourself off. And, I took cold showers. I mean,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
missions
Yeah.
would boil it, but I was just like, let's go. Like,
Just get it
I'm
done.
just, yep. You feel so refreshed after that, especially,
Yep.
in the heat of Uganda. The weather in Uganda doesn't change. It's on the equator. So,
Oh, okay.
so people, like, the Ugandan local people would try and say, "Oh, there's a dry season and a wet season," but I'd be like, "I cannot tell the difference."
Yeah.
Like, but, obviously, we didn't have, like, those we didn't really have cars, so we were kind of walking everywhere. But, you know, it was a pretty fruitful mission. I mean, it's one of those missions where if you work hard, you're gonna find baptisms and confirmations everywhere. But, at the end of the day, I feel like it wasn't really those that mattered. Obviously, I'd say, like, I'm more grateful. Obviously, I'm grateful for bringing people to Christ, but, like,
Mhm.
there's so much more people who can be converted, including yourself, your companions, the members. There's just so many different forms of conversion, I think,
Yeah.
on a mission. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love all that. I love all that. Yeah, I didn't realize it was on the equator. That's
Yeah.
man, that's like people from Arizona saying it's only hot sometimes, but Like, we lived in
Yeah.
Arizona for like 8 years, and, like, it's 9 months out of the year, it's hot, and then 3 months, it's really hot. That's it. That's it. It's hot
Yeah.
and then really hot, and then hot again.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild. So, okay, so then you had mentioned earlier while you were on your mission, right, reaching out to coaches and all this kinda stuff. What was it then that kinda made you think about SVU rather than some of those bigger schools or other opportunities? What jumped out at you about SVU?
Obviously, like, the church, I feel like it would be good for me just to kind of, be amongst, people who believe in what I believe in, um, and obviously, like, it seemed it was just, I really wanted to play soccer. Honestly,
Yeah,
like, if I was gonna play Division 3 soccer, at the time, I wouldn't wanna play anywhere else,
yeah,
okay? I wouldn't wanna play anywhere else except amongst those people who, are in the faith, and, it was awesome, staying in the lofts, the freshman housing, you
okay,
meet so many friends at institute class, was
yeah,
it wa those were some sick classes, man,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
like, I seriously learned, like, so much. I'd say my favorite one was, it's Bishop Carpenter now,
Okay.
so his, like, and it was, like, answers to gospel questions. It
Oh,
was
yes.
literally just a it was an open discussion class. You
Yep,
you literally discuss about anything, like hot takes,
yep,
anything about the
yeah,
church, and it was like that was so cool, especially the way that Carpenter would teach it. Like, he was
yeah,
just so humbling, and he was willing to answer just any question, and I just learned though it was like the best thing because he made sure we were all this is a place of comfort, you know, that please don't hesitate to ask anything you want. And, I seriously, seriously learned like so much from him. Um, just out of there. And then obviously the soccer aspect, it was super cool. Like with Peyton, we'd always start off practice doing we'd take turns sharing like a little devotion, a little
yeah, I
two, three
remember that.
minute
That was super cool. That was super
could
cool.
it could be about anything, like just about, a past experience you had that was life changing for you, or just a little scripture that you had, literally anything. And it kind of would set a spiritual tone of like, we're all brothers. And I remember Peyton would always mention, soccer doesn't matter. We love this sport, but he would always make sure that we know, like, you guys are so much more than soccer players, and
Mm,
y'all's
yeah,
divine potential is far more than, being a college athlete or even a professional athlete. Our divine potential is, that was sort of the role he played for me in my life. Just being, obviously a soccer coach. I learned so much from him.
yeah.
Keep in mind, I play center back now. I got recruited as an attacking mid,
Oh,
right? And
really?
yeah, yeah, I forgot to mention about that.
Okay.
Um, and then I just remember, like, I just saw, like, getting into SVU, I saw, well, everyone's a midfielder and nobody's a center back. So I guess I'll just play center back. And so I kind of, so
I
I
told him
kind
he
of
should have played you at the 6.
really.
Yeah,
Oh boy. I mean, I'd have to work on that technical ability, but I would have
that's
loved it.
wild.
But I got recruited, as an attacking mid, so I kind of just went there. And I kind of realized, because you get to the college level, it's way different than high school.
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah.
obviously, coming out of high school, dude, like, I'm I'm saucing against all these high school kids, right? But then you get to the college level and you realize, like, dude, these players were also like the best players on their team. It didn't matter the level, like Division 3, is still very, very competitive.
When you
And
guys were in the
so
ODAC, which is, like,
yeah,
one of the most competitive
Well,
conferences in
we were
D3.
in the oh my goodness, the USA South, but we did
Oh
play
yeah,
against
that's right. That's right.
we did play against ODAC teams, like, in the regular season, and those were probably some of our toughest opponents.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, we played against the University of Lynchburg, still
Oh
probably
gosh.
the best team I've ever played against.
Yeah.
Like, those guys could play, and it wasn't like it was just fundamental soccer, but those guys were the way they moved the ball, we were defending for our lives against that, but like, obviously, you play against teams like W&L, those also,
Yeah.
like, really, really good teams. This past year, we played against Hampton Sydney.
Yep.
It was
Yep.
ranked, like, 22 in the country at one point, also a really good team. Just, it's don't underestimate, especially being on the East Coast in Virginia,
Oh.
like, Division III soccer, I think that's no joke, man. Like, those kids can for sure play. Um, so it was like it was so cool being at SVU, being in like that competitive environment, knowing that these opponents they're not these guys aren't gonna be easy, but also like realize coming back after games and stuff, just realizing that you do have that divine potential. And that's something
Mhm.
that, like I said, Peyton always amplified, especially his assistant Camden. You know,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
you know, Camden especially would give like some really, really touching, powerful devotionals. When I was there and I seriously like learned from those guys. And Peyton, he worked with me and how to play center back,
Yeah.
come the fall season. And he got my confidence up. Yeah, especially like in the I'd say like that spring game you play. So it was my first
Yeah.
semester.
Okay.
Um and I just remember like I was really, really nervous in that spring game. But then, you get the ball. All it required was, I just had to complete one pass. Like
Yeah.
just one
Yep.
pass, and then you kind of just forget
Yep.
you get into the flow of the game. And it was really cool because I had my teammates kind of work with me like, Ace, like I want you to talk to me. Just trust your like trust yourself being vocal. Because as a
Mm.
center back, that's what it's super essential. That's what you got
Yep.
to do
Yep.
because you do see the whole field. You see the midfield. Who's especially defensively,
Yeah.
like you see like gaps for the other team. So you got to be vocal with your team. And yeah, I was able to play really well in that spring game and gained my confidence ever since then, and just kind of carried into the fall and into the season. So
Yeah.
it was super awesome.
Love that. I love that. Yeah. The especially in college, the first time you touch the ball, and as a defensive player, first time you put an opponent on the grass. That's yeah, and then you're set and you're good to go.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, absolutely.
I love that. Yeah, I actually was a 9, like, my whole life. Well, not my whole life. I started as a left back. When I was a kid, I played left back, and I scored too much. And so they were like, "You're not a defender. You need to play the 9."
Yeah.
So I played the 9, like, my whole life, but I would play everywhere. I was, one of my favorite soccer experiences my freshman year at SVU. So I graduated I graduated 2010, went to SVU fall semester, and then I left on my mission January of 2011. So the fall semester, um, I was instead of like a player, I was like a manager for the team, basically. I'd had some GPA issues. Take care of your grades. I'd had some GPA issues, so they were like, you know what? Rather than trying to force things, just be a part of the program, be a manager, and we'll figure it out. So it was fine. It was what I needed, right? But we still had an alumni game, and so they were like, you know what? This doesn't count for anything. Put your boots on. So I got to play in our alumni game, but all of the alumni knew me, so I played for both sides. So like I played one half for the current SVU team, and then I played another half for the alumni team. And
Yeah.
that was man, that was so fun. That was so fun, but they put me everywhere. I played the 9, I played the wing, I played 8 for, like, 30 minutes of that game, but it was so fun. And there's something about playing sports at SVU, and the turf was still new, right? We didn't even have
Yeah.
a stadium yet, like, there was just bleachers up there. It was fun, it was fun. I love that, I love that. Yeah, SVU is it's a special place for sure, and it's changed a lot over the last, I mean, 20 plus, 25, 30 years, but it's awesome to connect with guys who are still going and experiencing that, and cool to hear the stories about how things are still going, and at
Absolutely.
times it's, I don't know, concerning is not the right word. That's too heavy, but, like, I think about it. Like, I think about SVU, like, is it still, like, a place where kids should go? And hearing stories like that about staff and about other athletes and institute and all of that, it's just that's awesome to hear. Um, so with all of that, with SVU being great, talk to me about this transfer then. I know for me as a coach, I think there's been a stigma on transfers over the last few years.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, kind of stepping away from coaching has helped me to see, like, most of the time, I feel like it's because kids need to go somewhere else, whether it's for
Yeah.
opportunity or whatever it may be. So talk to me about the transfer and kind of that process and how it went for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it came to a point, it was in probably like February or March. I was just like, so I was in school. Obviously, you still got to pay for school, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to like dog on SVU, but
Oh, it's expensive.
I did not want to take out loans. Okay. So what I would do is I would work these crazy hours at Taco Bell, like from 7 to Yep, yep. I would work from, like, 7 to 2 a.m., and then,
Oh my
obviously, that's when we
gosh.
close. So we close at
Right.
2 a.m.,
Sure.
and then
And you're
you gotta
working
clean the
until 3 or
store.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, it was tough, man, like, you'd work these hours, and then you'd have practice at 6 a.m., so we did
Yeah.
these technical sessions for an hour at 6 a.m., and I was just like, "You know what? I just don't think, this is good for
Yeah.
me," because, you know, I was a bit out of I'm not gonna dog on any players at SVU, but,
Yeah.
my parents, they're supportive of me being there, but, they're not really, like, financially stable to help me, like,
Sure.
pay for school, so I was kind of, like, on my own in that aspect. So it was kind of I was kind of at a disadvantage, because there are kids at SVU,
Mhm.
who who do benefit from or there's kids everywhere who do benefit from their parents, but helping them pay for school. But I felt like at times I felt like I was alone, and I was just like, man, this sucks. I got to do something about it. So I kind of like prayed about it, and immediately I was just like, why I think I need to come home,
Yeah.
to Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And obviously, so um I just I really needed my family at the time, like at those hard times, and I just really wanted to be with them. So I entered the transfer portal. I talked to Peyton about it. He was very supportive about it. He was
Good,
just
good,
like,
good.
you know, I'm here, I'm willing to help you. If you need me for a reference,
Yeah.
I'm here for you
He's
and stuff
awesome.
like that. So,
He's
and
awesome. Man.
I'll explain it. Yeah. I kind of entered the transfer portal, and when you enter the transfer portal, um, it's almost like a recruiting
Yeah.
website.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, so you put your email, your school, your position, put your highlight video, and eventually you over time you do get a few schools who do hit you up, right?
Yep.
So I was getting, I was fortunate to be getting, these schools to be hitting me up. But over time, I really wanted to go play, in Rhode Island, just so like
Yeah.
I said at the beginning of this podcast, I wanted my family to be able to see me play, and none of the Rhode Island schools hit me up. So eventually, I just hit up, Kyle Froberg. He's a head soccer coach at Rhode Island College.
Yeah.
We call it Rick, right?
Yep. Yep.
RIC.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, he's a head coach at Rick. And he tells me, "Hey, like, I'm impressed with your highlight video, but I'm not looking for a center back right now." So I was just like,
Mm,
"Oh, dang it!" Right? So I was a bit bitter about it,
sure.
obviously, but
Sure.
then what he did offer me, he was like, "You can come here, you can be a walk on or whatever." I was just thinking about it, and 1 week later, I was literally about to hit him up. I was like, "You know what? I'm coming. I'm gonna try out. I'm gonna try to walk on." And then before I text him, he emails me and he's like, "Can I have a call with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And so he calls me. He's like, "You know what? We're gonna offer you a spot. One of the center backs. He's not coming back." So that was like, it's a bit of a testimony just
Yeah.
about, like, the Lord putting me, like, where I need to go, and so here I am currently here, and, it's awesome here. Like, there's so many, like, summer league teams that,
Well, that's
you
awesome.
can join, and so, obviously, I'm on a summer league team called Higher Level, and it's obviously with a few of my Rhode Island College teammates,
Cool.
and so you get to know those guys a bit better. Um, the team aspect, obviously, some of our goals is, we there's a few other there's other schools here in Rhode Island. So there's
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnson and Wales,
Yep.
Providence. I know this is Johnson
Yep.
and Wales in Charlotte,
Yeah.
but this is
Yeah.
Johnson and Wales, Providence, right? We're playing against Johnson and Wales, Providence. We're playing against Salve Regina in Newport,
Okay.
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And there's another one called Roger Williams. So some of
Yeah.
our
Yep.
goals, we obviously want to beat all of the Rhode Island teams.
Yep.
We wanna finish at least top 3 in our conference, um, and, that those are some of the goals we wanna achieve because it's sort of like Southern Virginia. We're not high enough, like, in Division III soccer to, like, get invited, like, especially our conference we're
Mm,
in, you have to win,
sure.
the not the standings.
Yeah.
You don't have to be champions of it's called the Little East Conference, the LEC,
Okay.
but you gotta win that
The
tournament to
conference
get in.
tournament. Yeah.
So you gotta that's, it all comes down to that. So that's sort of our focus and obviously make some noise in the NCAA tournament. Obviously we'll be underdogs, going into that. But, those are some of our goals. It's sort of like similar to Southern Virginia.
Yeah.
So the team obviously it's a bit more humbling to be here. I mean, on my visit, these kids are awesome. They're good, man. They're good, but I can kind of relate to them a bit more because a few of the kids they have to rush to work after practice.
Mm, sure.
Instead of helping take down with the equipment, and coach is very understanding of that. Uh, I'm super excited. It's a smaller team than Southern Virginia
Okay.
as well. Like I said, I'm super excited just to show them what I got, and also just hopefully just get along with these guys here and maybe some missionary moments. So
Yeah.
like I
I
said,
love that.
yeah,
I love that. A quote that has been on my mind a lot lately, and actually I referenced in my talk on Sunday, is um, Saint Francis of Assisi is quoted as saying, "Preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words." Right? Just being that light, being that example in those guys' lives, I think that's huge. Um,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Rhode Island is so small. So the one guy that that I know from Rhode Island. I guess it's two. Michele Picozzi is when he was a volleyball player, and then oh my gosh, I just forgot his last name. His first name's Jimmy Beluccio. Jimmy Beluccio. They're
It
both
must be
volleyball guys.
Italian.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're here,
They're
man.
both volleyball guys. But yeah, so you're the third person then I know from Rhode Island.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah,
awesome.
we're here, man. I
I love
mean,
it.
one thing people should know about here is, we love soccer here. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like I mean, it's New England, right? And that Boston's right there. So, obviously there's a few really good there's some really good talent out here
Sure, sure.
in Rhode Island. But man, it's been great being out here, especially like in church. We literally I go to a YSA branch.
Okay.
Okay. Literally, our church is in downtown Providence, right? And
Oh, that's cool.
it's like in one of those big business buildings. So it's like you can see the
Cool.
skyline. So it's not in like a chapel. It's like it's awesome, and
Yeah.
there's probably like 35 of us. And like keep in
That's not
mind
bad
this
for
is
a YSA.
yeah, but this is all of Rhode Island. Some kids come
Oh,
from
wow.
Connecticut, some of them come from Massachusetts. So yeah, but the members here are great. I mean, even the leaders, so it's really, really cool.
That's
So,
awesome. I love that.
mhm.
I love that. And then so I don't know if you even want to talk about this. If you don't, we'll take it out. But um girlfriend recently got baptized, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, she
So
did, yeah.
do you want to talk about that at all
Yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah?
so
Of course you do. Of
oh
course
boy.
you do.
Oh boy, so so, man, so she I met her at the gym,
Okay.
the 24-hour fit so
Yep.
it was
Yep. Yeah.
last day in BB. Last
Oh,
day in
okay.
BB, okay. So I'm working out, right? And I see this girl, right, like across the other like on the other side of the gym.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm just like, man, she's looking nice, like she looks nice, right? And no, so I'm like, well, it's my last day, so like why bother, right? Why bother even
Sure,
talking to her?
sure.
So keep in mind, I'm just minding my business. I go and do some dumbbell bench press on the opposite side of the
Mm,
gym from her.
yeah.
And so, um, on the she then comes next to me and starts working out, and I'm like, oh boy, I gotta get out of here. So I like go to the back where she first started, and I start doing like squats. But then she comes next to me and like there's like a machine. She starts doing like lateral like pull downs or something like, oh boy. And so and I caught her like I mean, we made like a little bit of eye
Sure.
contact, right?
Sure,
And
sure.
so here's my final chance to talk to her. I then move by the exit door, which is kind of on the opposite side of the gym. I'm
Yep.
planking
Okay.
and I'm like, oh shoot, here she comes. She might say something, right? And she doesn't say anything. And she like and she just leaves, man. So funny story. I come home. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is kind of embarrassing, but it is what it
That's
is.
okay.
She got baptized. She got baptized. So
Right,
it's all
right.
for a purpose. This is
Yeah.
all for a purpose. So I then leave the gym. I come home to my friend Raymond Casado. He's on the
Mhm.
Southern
Yep,
Virginia
yep,
men's soccer team.
yep.
All right. I was like, bro, there's this really, really pretty girl at the gym. And he was like, I think I know who it is. And so he then like we then were able to find her Instagram. We were able to find her Instagram. And so I literally just hit her up and I'm just like, yo, what's up? And then she was like, stop, you're the guy from the gym. And
Oh
so
my
she was like,
gosh.
you should come to Walmart right now. And so I then go to Walmart.
Go to
I
Walmart.
literally rushed to Walmart and we just start walking and talking. Keep in mind, it's like 10 at night, so Walmart's about to close,
Yep,
right?
yep.
We're just walking around and, I bought her groceries for it wasn't much, I'm not like a bougie
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
but,
Sure, sure.
I just wanna be a gentleman, and then,
Yep. Yeah.
the rest is history. I mean, obviously, I come here, we start talking, She comes out to Rhode Island to see me, and we just start clicking. And she was meeting with the missionaries. Um,
That's awesome.
whenever one while I was in Rhode Island, while she was still in Virginia, and her her conversion process was awesome, man. Just to see the way her testimony grow, and just like if you heard her testimony like at the baptism, like
Hmm.
it was super powerful just to see how the light of Christ was in her. And I mean, her name's Irie, by the way. I gotta give her a shout out just to
Yeah.
let you know.
Yeah, of
So her
course.
name's
Of course.
Irie Fernandez. But brought her out to Rhode Island. She flew out to see me. We then drove back
Cool.
to Virginia so I could baptize her. And then we came back to Rhode Island, and because she loved it so much, she wanted to come back. And then she just flew out yesterday to
Fun.
back to BV. So it's been had to do a bit of long distance from now, but
Yep. Yep.
it's all right. I mean, at God if at God's will, we'll eventually be together. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome. That's a cool story. That's a funny story. The
yeah.
fact that he was like, "Oh, I think I know who that is."
I
Oh, and
know,
then Walmart, good old Walmart, man. If
I
I had a
know.
dollar for every time I did a date at Walmart, like,
Oh my God, Walmart, in Lexington, Virginia. You can't beat it.
yeah.
Can't
Oh man. And so when I was a kid, it was 24-hour Walmart too. So
really.
yeah, that was, man, that was like the Walmart in Lexington, and then like so in BV, so
So
geez, like way towards like Glenmary Park, like when you turn right and you go past like the super old football field, like
yeah.
that gravel parking lot.
Yeah.
So Walmart and that gravel parking lot were like the hangout places in Rockbridge
Okay.
County. Like you would take your truck or your car or whatever and just hang out either in the gravel, or you'd go to Walmart and do the same thing. Just hang out in the parking lot. That was it. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Walmart dates, those were the best. Those were the best. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we got to talk a little bit, of course, about the game. So I want to get kind of your thoughts. I am very opinionated, I think, and I'm typically very clear about my opinions on the podcast and posts that I put up and everything. But I kind of want to get your opinion on, like, for me, I think we need a lot of reform in US soccer. I think there needs to be a
Absolutely.
lot of change. But I want to get your thoughts and before I start influencing what you say.
Yeah. So just of US soccer in the US, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Or yeah. So Um, something that I stumbled across, which was kind of like how I viewed it. So, do you know the Dan Patrick Show?
Of
It's like a
course.
podcast
Yep,
like
yep.
you.
Yeah.
So, Kevin
Oh, thank
Frazier,
you.
he's a
Dan Patrick is a podcast like me. Oh
it,
my goodness. I
like
appreciate it, Ace.
no problem. So, Kevin Frazier
Yeah,
came on
yep.
his show, right? And he was just like fuming
Yeah.
about, I think it was right after the USA had lost 4 to
Yep.
1 to
Yep.
Belgium,
Yep.
right? And he came on the show and he was fuming, and he was like, Alexi Lalas just needs to shut up,
Yep.
right? Like, just
I
about like,
reposted that so many times.
yeah. Oh, you know what video I'm talking about then, right?
Yeah, the
Or
one where they're like sitting in the chairs and he's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I honestly kind of agreed. He stated how, how his son, he shared a story about his son, like, he's here in Beverly Hills, like
Yep.
playing at the top club,
Yep.
right? And he was sort of like, wait a second, how are we in Southern California and there's no Latino kids, right?
Yes.
Very simply, like, they can't afford it, right? So he decides to take his son to like the inner city, like the
Yeah.
hood, right?
Yep.
And his son's like 9 years old, and he quoted this. He's like, "They were dicing my son up." Like, so I think, in my opinion, just brief opinion, the talent is here.
Yeah.
There is
Yes.
no reason why we should be getting honestly, I hate to say it, I saw this coming, that 4-1 loss to
Me
Belgium,
too. Yeah.
because what it, correct me if I'm wrong. Who did the USA play before that World Cup? They played a few friendlies. They played Senegal,
Yeah. They
and you know
played
who they played? They
Uruguay,
played Portugal,
Portugal,
and they played
Germany,
Belgium.
and Belgium.
They
It was
played
just,
no.
yeah.
I don't. People don't remember this game. I do. This is like back towards the end of the school year.
Mm-hmm.
USA played Belgium in Atlanta, and they got
Yes.
destroyed.
Got
It was like
smacked.
5-1,
Yep.
4-1, something like that.
Yep.
Um, and they then lost to Portugal 2-0. So
Yep.
2-0 with like their World Cup roster or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And so I'm just looking. I'm like, we're done. We're done. Like we have every right to. We're home field advantage. And we just can't. We like literally in that game. It looked like Belgium was toying with us. So
Oh yeah.
eventually, don't
Oh
get me
yeah.
wrong. We play Paraguay. All right, that had us on our feet a little bit.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's not a big fish. It's not a big fish like Belgium or France or England, right? And who else they play? They played Australia, right?
Yep.
Like, come on
Yep.
now. Like Australia, don't get me, I'm not dissing on, the Socceroos, but
No. No.
you
No.
know, don't get me wrong, it's also not a big fish. And correct me if I'm wrong, the goals they scored in that game was
One
an
was an
own
own
goal.
goal. Yeah. One was an
And
own goal, and the
then
other one was a mess.
that fortunate, yeah, it was like
Yeah.
that, stuff happens, right? Don't you can argue, right? They created their own luck, but Australia at the end of that game looked
Yep.
dangerous. And
Yep.
a few bounces, just didn't go their way, and then they lost to Turkey, right? But you can say they're resting their starters, right? They had already won the group,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then who they beat Bosnia, all right, right,
Woo.
and then of course they play Belgium. We all know what
Yep.
happened. So
Yep.
I just I don't think pay to play is the way to go.
Oh no.
Honestly,
No.
like I
No
said,
chance.
like I think there's kids. Even where I grew up in, there's kids who simply just, they couldn't afford the exposure. I feel like everything's about exposure
Yep.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Like whether
Yeah.
it's like, I look at players like Berhalter and Gio Reyna and stuff like that. Like they're good,
Mm-hmm.
especially Reyna, but it's just like, man, there's probably so many kids like who would benefit if they would have like the resources that they had
Yep.
like growing up and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Obviously, I didn't have those resources,
Yep. Same.
but I
Yeah.
just, me personally, I miss the old United States team. Like the team that I fell in love with was, back when I was like 11 years old, like 2014 World Cup Brazil.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, you're such a baby.
yeah. So like, like, you felt like, you just felt like these guys. I mean, they were still like using their MLS players. Like none of those
Yep.
guys really
Yep.
played for like teams in Europe and stuff. I think Dempsey was playing on like
Yeah.
the
You
Seattle
had
Sounders at the time.
Clint had come back. You had Jermaine Jones, who was, I think he was playing in Germany at the time.
Yeah,
Landon, who had played overseas but like had come
at the
back and all of that,
Galaxy,
and then come back with the Galaxy. Yeah, those guys, but there was fight. There was heart and
exactly,
passion, and
and
yeah.
Tim Howard was a different
Oh,
animal.
Timmy.
Now,
Oh my gosh.
this is my hot take.
Okay.
Tim Howard, best United States player of all time. I think, in my opinion.
Oh,
In my opinion, he's a goalkeeper, but I think
still a player.
overall,
Yeah.
he's absolutely still a player.
Yeah.
Imagine what would happen if we didn't have him in that knockout round against Belgium in
Oh, we would have been
2014?
cooked.
Yeah,
We were cooked anyways, but
that
16 saves though, unreal.
I know that was insane. Like that was crazy. Just that. I just remember I'm like sitting here. USA, they're not attacking. They
Yeah.
are not attacking, but
Yep.
Howard is just like
Secretary of Defense. Yeah.
I know, and you're
Yeah.
just like, oh boy, we're just getting cooked. Like, how much
That's a
more?
solid hot take. That's a
Like,
solid hot take.
or I want to hear who do you think number one all time United States?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, I like the Tim shout, honestly. I would say
Yeah.
field player, I would say Clint. I would say Dempsey.
I would be
Um,
on that one too. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
leading, he's a leading goal scorer for the United States,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
and I think whenever he gets called, I remember Alexi Lala said this, like, whenever you get this is when Pulisic was like, my body hurts for like the
Oh my
Gold Cup or
gosh.
something like that,
Yeah.
and it's like Alexi Lalas was like, when you
Ugh.
get a call up from your country, you go and you represent.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, I think every time you step onto the field, you risk getting injured.
Mhm.
Like, I think you risk getting injured every time you play. Every time you train, every time you step in the weight room, you risk an injury. So, like, I think you just, no matter the competition, you still need to. And we ended up losing that Gold Cup.
Yep.
I think it to Mexico,
Yeah.
like in that final. But I think we definitely could have used Pulisic
Mhm.
in that sense. But I feel like there's just a lack of like comfort, like
Mm.
with those players who like, or not a lack of there's too much comfort is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. I gotcha.
with um with those players who are playing in the big clubs in Europe, and it's not like I felt like the old USA team was willing to die for that badge, and
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
kids are kind of like, you see they've kind of had like, it seems like they've had like everything handed to them, and they're kind of like spoiled, like,
Yep. I say
so
they're entitled. They feel entitled to
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a better word
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. No,
um
spoiled is good too, though. I think they are.
mhm,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's man. What was I gonna say? Oh, I can't remember if it was Landon or Clint after Christian said that, and after the World Cup, where he said, "Now I get to go rest now." And
yeah,
I can't remember if it was, I think it was Landon, but he was like, "You literally would have had to drag me off the field with a broken leg, like, to get me off of a World Cup pitch. Like,
yeah,
I would not go off the field unless my leg was broken." And, like,
yeah,
that to me, like, I don't remember, and my career was ended because of an injury, but up to that point, I don't remember a day, a training, a game, anything where I wasn't hurt somewhere.
yeah,
Like, I never played injured because playing injured is dumb, but I played hurt every time I played the game. Something hurt, an ankle or a knee or a shoulder or something was hurt. And yeah, just these guys who were like, well, now I can go rest. Like,
yeah,
it was Carly Lloyd, I think, who was like, you rested the whole World Cup, rest when your career's over.
mhm, yeah,
Oh, yeah. No, I like all that. I like all that. I think there needs to be massive,
mhm.
just complete reform
Like
of
like
everything.
what do you think, for example, what do you think would have happened if the United States and Cape Verde would have switched spots? Okay. Like if
Gosh.
USA would have had to play, Spain,
Yep.
Uruguay, Saudi Arabia.
We're grouped.
Like,
We're grouped,
yeah, I
100%.
think I
100%.
agree. Maybe third, we're sneaking into third
Maybe.
place.
Yeah.
But obviously, they had to Cape Verde, the way you saw the way so I'm Cape Verdean myself.
Okay,
My
okay,
mother my mother's half Cape Verdean, half Korean. So,
okay.
that's who I was cheering for this
Oh,
World Cup,
yeah,
man. Like,
absolutely.
especially like, man, Bozinia and those guys, like, a bunch of no names. Like,
Yeah,
who did
yeah.
you know on Cape Verde before the tournament? Nobody. But
Nobody.
like,
Nobody.
the way those guys, I feel like the way they fought, they truly like won like everybody's hearts, especially in that Argentina game, man. Like, I think if there's a way you're gonna lose a game, I think it should be the way
Yeah,
Cape Verde lost.
yeah.
Just the way those guys, stuff wasn't going their way. They didn't argue with the ref.
Yep.
They just played, man.
Yeah,
They played like with belief that they can do it. So
yeah. Yeah, I love that. Now, I said before the World Cup, I said before the draw that I thought we were gonna get grouped.
really,
And then I saw the draw and I thought, well, we got the luckiest draw out of
I know.
anybody. And so we won't get grouped. But yeah, you put the US where Cape Verde was, like you said, maybe we sneak in with a third place. But at the same time, like, if you're playing Spain and Uruguay in the group, like, if those losses are bad enough, you're getting grouped on home
Yeah, I
soil.
know.
Like,
I
I
know.
I think Spain would have just toyed with us. Like, it wouldn't even have been a fun game.
Absolutely.
But no, Cape Verde was unreal. That was an awesome, awesome to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. They were the only teams, I think someone said, to draw with Spain and Argentina through regular time for the
Exactly.
whole
Yeah.
tournament. And like, who
The
would have
two
thought?
finalists. Yeah.
Yeah, who would have thought that? That was and goal of the
Mhm.
tournament, which I
Yeah.
said even
Oh my goodness.
before FIFA officially announced it, I think yesterday. And the have you seen that video yet?
Which one?
So
The
FIFA posted like official like goal of the tournament.
Oh no, I haven't seen it yet.
It's so bad. So they post like goal of the tournament, and then as he's cutting in, right before he takes the shot, they put up like his name and like Cape Verde, like it covers him. So all you can see is like the ball go into the far post past Martinez, which is a great shot, but like you don't
Yeah.
see him take the shot. So
Mm.
there have been just thousands of people that are like, great goal, worst editing I've ever seen. Like it's just FIFA's a mess right now. FIFA's a mess right
Yeah.
now. No, Cape Verde. Okay, so hold on. So your mom is Cape Verdean and Korean?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So my grandfather immigrated to Rhode Island from so he's Cape Verdean, he grew up in Senegal, but came here
Okay.
with his mother when he was like 16 and then he joined the army. Then he got shipped out to Korea,
Okay.
right? He met my grandmother and they obviously, she got pregnant with my mom and they were like, "All right, we got to come. It's probably better if they come to America." So
Yeah.
came here, raised my mother so my dad is from El Salvador. So
Okay.
it's like,
Wow.
yeah, it's insane, man. Like that over here in Rhode Island, let me tell you, it's really diverse. Like I'm not the only
Yeah.
kid like this. So there's a really, really big like I mean, there's Dominicans, there's, Laotians, there's Puerto Ricans, just
Laotian.
everything.
Cool.
Yeah. Or Laotian is the
Okay,
correct way.
Laotian. Okay, okay.
Yeah, like people from Laos.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of Portuguese people. I mean,
Okay.
Cape Verdeans too. This is probably like the biggest Cape Verdean community in the United States. We're all here
Wow.
in Rhode Island and Boston, so
That's cool.
we're all here. So
That's really cool. Yeah, I've heard that Rhode Island is like the melting pot of the US, just where like
oh yeah,
the most
uh,
diverse, and it's the smallest state.
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's
I don't
cool.
know what people saw, just like but yeah, they all decided to come here. I mean, so
Yeah. No,
and
that's
it's
cool.
pretty. There's a beach, the ocean state,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah. That is cool. That is cool. So talk to me a little bit about like what are your plans post college? Now you're going to a new school as an incoming junior, right? You'll be a junior this fall.
Yeah.
So 2
So
years of eligibility.
yeah.
So talk to me about that and then post college. What are your plans?
So obviously, I want to be just I want to make an impact of a team. Honestly, just a bigger impact of one that I had at SVU. Something that obviously I look to. This should be on everybody's list. You obviously want to make that starting 11.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah.
player and just um get as many shutouts as you can as a defender, but also score some goals. I mean, I wanna I've scored an own goal at Southern
Oh,
Virginia. I wanna put some in the other in the
yeah.
opponent's net, right? But obviously just look to just finish strong, obviously get good grades. Hopefully, the plan is with, my girlfriend and whatnot. Hopefully we get her here, you know, by next summer, hopefully married by then to her. And then,
Woohoo!
I'll come out here in the podcast and say
There
it.
we
I'll
go.
come out and say it. And then
This gets published. She's gonna see this.
it's okay. It's okay. Let the world see it, man.
I love it.
Um um so I'm a sports management major, but like
Cool.
obviously, I just wanna see how far I can go with soccer, just to say, at least I've tried, and something about me that I've noticed is, I just keep getting better and better, and I
Mm,
keep reaching levels that, I thought I never could reach.
sure.
And I just really hopefully, make it to the professional level and just kind of build from there. I mean, I think anything is possible if you put your mind to it, if you seriously work at it. And that's probably a big reason why I came here because, I play more soccer here, probably a bit more than I'm gonna be working. I felt like in
Sure. Yeah,
Virginia,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was more of a Taco Bell worker than a soccer player, but
Yeah,
it's a bit cheaper for me out here. I mean, because the in-state tuition and whatnot. I mean,
sure.
it's so that's a blessing. But after college, if I'm not playing pro, you always got to have a plan B for something. Just kind of get into like the sports world, whether that be like working. I love sports in general. Like I
Oh,
love
yeah. Yep.
the NBA, NFL. Um, hopefully just like working as like an intern, like for the Patriots or something. Just
Cool. Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
trying to. I'm honestly like that. That's what's here. That's sort of
Yeah.
like the jobs they've been
Yep.
posting, like
Yep.
as
Yep.
interns. But I'm still trying to get my feet wet a little bit. I'm not like 100% sure, like which I feel like is normal of like
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly what I want to do.
Yep.
I mean, but hopefully, or even just running my own soccer facility because there's a high demand for those, and taking that risk and like starting your own business. Why not? Who wouldn't want to play like soccer? Everybody loves to play soccer. You know, e- people love to. People don't love to run, but people love to play soccer. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And I
Yep.
feel
Yep.
like and
Yep.
I feel like that'll help, like, get you in shape, honestly. So
Yeah.
I know there's a high demand for those, and especially in a place like here in Rhode Island, it would seriously benefit.
Yeah.
It would seriously benefit, and I feel like that's some way I could give back to the community in a way. So I just want to work under like something with sports, whether that be coaching, whether that be starting my own facility, whether that be like working for some team or whatnot. But I just overall like I said, there's so much. My divine potential is like much more and important than my occupation.
Mm.
There, as you know yourself, there's family is everything. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
I
I
have,
just being happy.
I don't know if you can see these or not. I've got
I mean, I
so
see it
all
a
these
little.
like sticky notes and everything. So this one it says, Heavenly Father in Christ, Marissa, my wife, my kids following my path. Those are the four most important things. I love that. Um, Starting a soccer facility would be awesome. Yeah, I've said for years, because I coached in Arizona at the high school level. And going back to what you were saying, I coached some Latino kids who were out of this world talent, ability, knew the game from a young age, but they couldn't drive 2 hours to go play for Phoenix Rising and pay 7 grand a year
Yeah,
to
that's
play for
ridiculous.
a club. And so I've said for years, I would love to start like a nonprofit academy, right?
Hmm.
And just something where like you have to bring in some kind of money, but inexpensive, right? Get
Yeah,
donors, get
affordable.
sponsors, make it affordable for these kids because we have, like you said as well, we have the talent here. The
Hmm.
talent is here. It's the opportunity that kids aren't getting. So
Yeah.
no, I love that. Yeah, staying in sports has always been something, and I was very blessed. I am very blessed that my wife was a college athlete and she played sports in high school, and from day one, she has always told me like I want to be and I'm ready to be a coach's wife. Like I'm ready to do that. I want to do that. I want to still be in sports, and we made the
Mhm.
decision for me to step away from coaching for a while, but not at all to step away from sports. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm doing this. Now we're watching sports every day. That's what's on our TV the most. Hi, baby. How are you? You good? That's my water. Yeah. My little one just came in here again. But yeah, it's and saying like wanting to stay in sports. There are unlimited ways you can do that.
Mhm.
There's just an unlimited way amount of ways that you can do that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you've been playing summer ball. Are you playing USL 2? Are you playing, I think it's NAPL? What level are you playing at?
So it's sort of like its own like it's like its own New England like league. It's
Cool.
like sort of like meant just to keep us in shape and stuff like that.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
yeah.
Love that. Like Sunday league kind of stuff?
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit kind
Cool.
of like that, but we still do like intense like fitness training. I mean, we
Very
did the
cool.
beat test the other day. Oh boy.
Oh, in summer
But
ball.
yeah,
Ah, no,
but
thank you.
I'm super grateful for that because,
Yeah.
I'd probably be slacking off and not because I was able to realize how out of shape I am. I mean,
For
I
sure.
feel like you don't realize that until you actually like do something about it. So,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I got one of the things about getting married, you
mhm.
get out of shape. I
Oh
got out
boy.
of shape so fast. And that's not like you get married, you get out, like it's not a standard, right? But like that happened to me. But yeah, over the last couple of years I've been working on getting back in shape. But yeah, once like you set foot on a pitch at 35 almost, dude, it is eye opening. It is eye opening. So no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So I got two more questions.
Yeah, no problem.
And then anything you want to talk about as well, we can jump into. So you worked at Taco Bell. So this is
Yeah.
a totally random question, or not random, but not important, right? What's your go-to like employee Taco Bell hack? What would you
Oh
do in
my
the back?
gosh.
Because I would do
Okay.
stuff all the time at Burger King that we couldn't sell, right? But I'd make stuff
Okay.
that was awesome.
Oh my goodness. So what I would do is I would grab a bowl.
Okay.
Okay. Grab a bowl and you put some rice in it. And what I would do is, so it depended on the day. I'd put either
Sure.
beef or chicken,
Yep.
right? And I would, let me tell you, if you haven't had Taco Bell honey mustard, you need to go try it right now. It is probably the best thing, best sauce
Really?
I've ever had. It is an underrated thing. I was working there.
About
I only
honey
saw
mustard.
people get it probably about like 10% of the time. Like
Wow.
them things were so good. So I'd put honey
Okay.
mustard on. All right. And then what I would do, I'd grab a Dorito Loco taco
Well,
and I
yeah.
would crush it,
Crush it on top.
right? And then like put it on the top. I'd put some like black beans on it.
Okay. Got
um,
to make it healthy.
I know. Put some black beans on it, put some lettuce on it. And honestly, that was pretty much it. I'm not a big cheese guy. I do
Okay.
not like
Okay.
cheese. I mean, so yeah, that was pretty much like a hack. Like it's probably something you wouldn't be able to unless you seriously
Just
modified like
yeah, totally customize it.
a protein bowl.
Huh. So
But
Taco Bell honey mustard. I don't even think I knew Taco Bell had honey mustard.
yeah, they do. They do.
Taco Bell. Well, I know where I'm
Well,
going
it
for
might
lunch now.
I couldn't say it was limited time, but it was
Oh,
there for
okay.
a while. It came with
Okay.
the chicken nuggets. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always said Wendy's has the best honey mustard.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've had Wendy's that much, so,
Oh,
like
Wendy's honey mustard with their spicy nuggets.
really?
Oh, so good.
Mhm.
I'll have to see if they still have honey mustard at Taco Bell though. I haven't been to Taco Bell in a minute. It's been a long time. Been a long
Yeah.
time. But okay, cool. That's a good hack. I'll have to see if I can somehow figure out how to do that, and maybe we'll do a taste test on a podcast sometime and see
Okay.
Ace's Taco Bell food hack. There we go.
Okay.
So
Well,
my last question that I always ask everyone is, you know, the purpose of the podcast, right, is finding that balance with faith and athletics and mental health and just all the things going on in your life, education. So, what would be your one piece of advice if you could give one piece of advice to youth, to people your age who are transferring schools, learning, doing new things? What would be your one piece of advice from Ace?
like, to help balance all of those things or just feel peace and comfort.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like your piece of
Well,
advice to like be okay.
I think really just being a find someone you can talk to. Like I said, I know
Mm.
not everyone, like, the reason why I say find someone you can talk to, because I know not everybody has someone they can talk to, or maybe they feel like they don't have someone they can talk to. Like, they might feel alone at times, but something that has really, really helped me seriously to this day, I even still do it when I go through hard times, is I read my mission call. But
Ooh,
like
yeah.
that's my own thing, because the reason why I read it, I just remember reading it and feeling at peace. And each time I read it, I like feel that feeling that I felt. And it's crazy to say, like 4 years ago, like that, or it's almost, oh my goodness, it's almost 5 years ago
You're
that,
such a
I
baby,
felt.
Ace. You're still such a baby.
I know. Okay. 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 But that I still feel like that peace and that comfort that I did, or even, something that I recommend the youth to do is to get a patriarchal blessing whenever they can, because my let me tell you something about mine. I'm not going to go into detail, but
Sure,
mine
sure.
is 1 page long. For the longest time I was bitter, like, oh, people would say, oh, mine's
Yeah,
two
mine's
pages like,
super long. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm like, man, mine is 1 page long, like, probably about, like, 5 paragraphs, like,
yeah,
and, like, a size 14 font, like, so, it's 1 page long, but it's just very, like, whenever I read that, I literally feel like the Lord is like, those are literally, like, it's the Lord talking to me.
yeah,
Like, I can literally hear him. So, just, everyone's different, but especially, I guess, like, this is more directed towards the youth. I really like growing, like, I've worked, like, at BYU summer camp, so I love working with the youth,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
honestly. And, I was a FSY counselor at a time, and,
Nice.
I really, like, loved seeing just the conversion and, the testimonies of youth grow. But just, find, find that thing, or get those resources. Use your church leader to help you. And, if you don't, let's say you don't have church leaders, or if you're just somebody, just tuning in to watch this podcast, who, it doesn't matter if you're a member of the church, just know that, Heavenly Father loves you, and you're so much more than just whatever, someone who's has an occupation here on this earth.
Yeah,
Your divine potential, that God just, he knows, and Jesus, he's felt every pain, he bled from every pore, for all of us. So just try and develop a relationship with the Savior, and I think you'll seriously see a change in your life, and you'll just see a niche of happiness if you don't have some. So
yeah. I love
yeah,
that. That's beautiful. And isn't that so true? Like, you don't have to be LDS to have a relationship with Christ,
absolutely. I think the
right?
Spirit is real. I think it's
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah.
I don't think you have to be a member of our church and to feel the Spirit. And I think I just think, like, if it's good, it's from God. That's always
Yes.
been my mentality. If,
Yeah.
like, you feel like, obviously we teach, like, gather Israel, but I honestly love, the gospel, but I also love, like, hearing about, like, just other, like, testimonies from
Yeah.
other people. I think
Yeah.
is really, really, really cool.
Yeah. Oh, some of the strongest testimonies I've ever heard have been from people who aren't members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
Yeah,
but their relationships with
absolutely,
Christ are just unbreakable. Yeah. I love that.
absolutely.
I love all that. All that. Ace, anything else that you wanted to talk about?
No, man, I think this has been great. This is so cool just to be on a podcast with you.
No, it's been
Yeah,
fun. And it's been good to get to know you a little bit better, and I wish you nothing but success in your future, and I'll be following on Instagram and whatever socials I follow you on. I don't know which I've got
yeah,
too
for
many
sure.
at this point, but yeah, it was good to have you on, and wish you the best. Yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Have a good one.
So,
Bye-bye.
here we go.